So, you signed up for trade school again. It's been a while since you've been here, probably a year or more, and you want to do better this year than you did last year. Well, I'm going to show you how to do that by structuring your calendar. So stay with me. So in this video, we're going to talk about what it takes to build upon the successes that you had last year and make sure that you have a better experience and more success this year. So how are we going to do that? We're going to look at taking care of your calendar and making sure that we address 4 separate boxes in your life. These 4 separate boxes are going to help you gain more success this time around when you come back to trade school. So do you want higher grades? How do you define success? Do you want to have more fun? Do you want to actually create more time for yourself so that you can go out and have time with your family and your friends, maybe even your buddies after trade school on the weekend, or you just want to celebrate that awesome exam that you crushed on Friday? Well, in this video, I'm going to show you how to do that by paying attention to 4 separate boxes. And I call those boxes the financial box, the family box, the fun box, and also your finals box, because you can't forget about school. I'm going to show you my calendar, my Google Calendar, and what I do to create not only space for myself, but block out sections of time that are reserved for separate things in my life. When I show you my calendar, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, so you can see here I have my calendar, and I've got blocked out portions of time for both work and for home and for family and for myself. And you can see that I've gone through and I've cordoned off actual blocks of time so that I know not only what's coming up for me in the week, but I can also color code them and to help me understand that this is for school and this is for my house and this is for supper. And you'll see that I've got my gym times listed in there. But that's a pretty much a typical week for me. So let me go ahead and show you the next week coming up for me in August. And you can see that this is my blank slate, that I approach my week kind of with this structure in mind, where I have my gym times set up for myself. I also have supper times set up, and because for me and my family, supper time is really important, I want to make sure that my times to have supper are blocked in and cordoned off and nothing can get into that space. And so, for instance, if I was to start filling in my calendar, I would simply just go and click on the time that I would be in school, and then I would say I want to edit the event, and so I would just simply type in school, and then I'm going to fill in the time that I'm in school for, and it's for 7 hours, and so or 6.5 hours, pardon me. So I'm going to be here till 2 o'clock. And then I'm going to assign it a color so that it stands out to me. And then I'm actually going to repeat this. I'm going to repeat it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And so I want to say I want it to end on August 18th. So I just simply go and click that day, click done, and click save, and it comes back to my calendar, and it will place school into those blocks for me. So it automatically does it. It's a bit of a shortcut, and so I just get that out of the way. Now in here, I can click on this one. If this is a day that I'm going to have finals, I can just simply go into the title and write in finals today, and then click save, and then only this event, and it will show me here finals that I want to do that. I can even change the color if I want from yellow and help it to stand out for me and change it to this so that I know that's a day for finals. So I want to start planning out my study periods before that appropriately, and that'll be another video that I'll talk about. So when we come to fun time and finances and finals and all that stuff, I can start looking at my calendar and say, well, I want to get to bed on time. I want to make sure I get to sleep. So I like to go to sleep at 10. So again, I'm going to click on this time here and put shutdown time. And I know that sounds kind of silly, but it helps me to remember that I want to give myself half an hour to shut down. And so I'm going to repeat this again, just like I did before. So every weekday I go and click that, and I want to make sure that I give it an end date. So I'm going to make sure that I give it the end date it needs. and I'm going to assign it a color, and I'll give it purple just for the sake of this video. Click Save, and there we go. So you can see how I begin to populate my calendar to make sure that my calendar is always organized, and it helps me to stay on top of things. And then you can go ahead and do this for your whole 6 weeks. And of course, you don't have to use Google Calendar. There are many different calendars out there. Crying out loud, you can even do it on a piece of paper with pen if you need to. And so this is just what I do to go ahead and schedule my time to make sure I get all the things done that I need to get done.
So one of the main things that you want to remember with this calendar is that planning ahead is going to bring you more success. Because if you fail to plan, you're always going to fail. Because if you don't have a target, it's always easy to hit it, isn't it? Because there's nothing to aim for, and you're just basing your next year's apprenticeship on a hope and a prayer that you'll get through. So there's also this thing called procrastination that says never do today what you can put off until tomorrow. And because you're only at school for such a short time, you can't really afford to put off to tomorrow what you really should be doing today. And so we're going to talk about what you can do to make sure that you beat the procrastination bug. And so when you're looking at the box of finances, you want to make sure that that's taken care of and out of the way, because when you're thinking about finances too much, you begin to get distracted from actually what's going on around you. And so in class, you're worrying, did I get my EI? Or did all my forms get signed off? Am I going to get a check? How long do I have to go before I get money? My wife's going to kill me, or my boyfriend's going to be wondering where's this money supposed to be coming from? So getting that financial box in order before you come, even if it's just half in order before you come, you are well ahead of the game to get that taken care of and stowed away. The other one that you want to pay attention to is family time. And this could be anywhere from your own immediate family, so your wife, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your husband. You want to make sure that you set time aside for them, because you're going to be spending time studying, you're going to be spending time at school, and for some people they think that school is a holiday when it really isn't. But you can make it seem like a mini holiday if you just take care of your schedule. So you want to make sure that you take care of your family time. The other box that we talked about was your fun time. And so fun time could be anything from going to the gym or going for a walk, going on a bike ride. It could be anything. But you want to make sure that you schedule some fun time into your weekly calendar, because if you're not going to do that, your body, your brain's going to start hijacking your plan to make sure that you have some fun. Because let's face it, coming to trade school, for the most part, it's going to require some work. You're going to have to study, you're going to have to remember some things, you're going to have to do probably some late nights, you have some projects to do. And so you're going to want to celebrate things, you're going to want to have some fun. And if you're not blocking time out for that, well, then other things are going to suffer. And finally, at the end of it all, you want to make sure that you've allowed time for finals. And what I mean by that is you're going to get a schedule or a calendar from your instructor when you go back to trade school, and they're going to provide you the dates when your finals will be. And so what I mean by making sure that you take care of your finals isn't just writing down on the calendar, hey, I've got a final on Friday or I have a final on Wednesday. That's only part of it, because when you put down that date that's your final, now you have an end point that you start planning backwards to make sure that you can meet that date with some confidence and knowing that you're going to be able to crush that exam or crush that practical, or both of you if they're both on the same day. And so if you don't do these things where you set time aside for not only studying but for family and for finances and for fun, you're going to find your calendar isn't controllable. You're going to lose time, and pretty soon you find yourself halfway through the program and you haven't studied very much, and now you're behind the 8 ball, and that's never a good place to be. So you always want to remember that you have to have the end in mind before you start planning everything out. So before you attack those 4 boxes or the 4 buckets or whatever you want to call them, make sure that you write down the final dates first. Then work your way back. Make sure you got time for school, time for studying, for commuting. I mean, you can get as nitty-gritty as you want to, but start with the finals and then start adding in everything else. And it's really all about setting routines for yourself. And it may seem awkward at first, but you really, trust me, you will get through it. That first week into the second and maybe even into the beginning of the third week, you'll get used to the routine. And in fact, you'll get so used to it that your body will start to crave it. And deviations from your plan are really going to disrupt you and make you feel uncomfortable. And really, when you feel the most comfortable because you've planned and you've studied and you've eaten properly and you maybe have exercised and you've spent time with family, you're going to be that much more in control of your emotions when it comes time to write that exam. So you're going to begin with the end in mind. You're going to plan some stuff out to make sure that it's all in there. But also remember that your calendar is somewhat flexible, because if you live by rigidity for the couple weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 10 weeks that you're in trade school, you're going to find yourself bucking against that system. You're going to find yourself rebelling against that system unless you're really, really disciplined. So you want to make sure that your calendar is somewhat flexible. So if life happens to you, something unexpected happens to you, well, your calendar will be able to flex with it. And don't forget, at the end of all this, you want to reward yourself, okay? All the goals that we set in life, there should be a reward for when you're successful in achieving those goals. Now, if you're in your 4th year and you're writing your IP, that's a no-brainer. You're probably going to celebrate with your classmates, maybe even with your instructor, definitely with family members, maybe even with your work colleagues. But when you're in 1st year, 2nd year, 3rd year, it's also just as important to celebrate these milestones that you've made in your apprenticeship. So take time aside, and again, that could be by yourself, it could be with your family, it could be with your work buddies, or all of them in different contexts. But you'll want to make sure that you reward yourself for the milestones that you've achieved. So following this plan of having these 4 buckets or these 4 boxes set out on your calendar is going to go a long way in helping you to do better in your next round of trade school and take away the fear of coming back, even if you've been gone for lots of time.
Hi everyone, and thanks again for watching my video. If you liked it and had some value in it for you, why don't you click the like button, give me some comments, let me know what worked, what didn't work. Also, tell me some tips that you may have. I may have missed something. You can also click the subscribe button. That would be awesome. I'd deeply appreciate that. Or you can go to my website, the Guild Podcast, or you can watch the next video, or you can connect with me on any one of my socials. Until then, have a great day.